Good evening, Team Testosterone, and thank you for tuning in to another scintillating episode of the Professionals, the rotating show that goes between each one of the Bros channels. Tonight, it falls into my lap, and we're going to be talking about some embarrassing situations that have happened to us in our comics career, whether they be as fans or as professionals. So it should be a fun evening of regrets, I guess. And I just want to, it was pointed out to me earlier by Mr. Fraga that today is National Brothers Day. So it's a perfect night for the professionals to be on and for all our brothers and sisters that are out there in the chat watching our show. We really appreciate you guys for all your comments and for your support of our projects too. We can't do it without you guys. You guys are the best. But then you know that, don't you? Let's say good evening to who is here so far. Let's see. We got Bretsky the Great. Salute chat. Salute bros. Randy Howell is here with the upside down DC logo. Yeah, that's something I want to talk about. Not tonight, but I'm going to do another stream about how DC. I didn't think they could burn their properties to the ground any lower, but somehow they managed to do it. Mark Pengrin is here. Good evening. Christopher, I'm not sure how to pronounce this. Majorana? Majorana? Did I get that right? Citizen Ronan is here. Past Master Dan. Nomad Damon says Happy Tuesday. Past Master wants to know if somebody woke Aaron from his nap. Quote the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven is here. I have to go cook dinner, so I'll catch this later. Well, he was here. He's not here now. Richie Dupe, Marcus Killigrew. Hail, but this is tough during the Yankees game and all. That's a 162 game season, my friend. You can miss one. Southern Cecil. I met Southern Cecil at MegaCon, and he came out for cigar night. We had a great time. Eric the Guapo is here. Hello, Eric. Let's see who else. Who did I miss? Jefferson Roswell. Andino Policio was here. Big Raj. Chris Oury. R. Enosh. Don't have a good evening. He said, oh, Raj Enosh says, don't have a good evening. Have a great one. I think we will. Marcus Buckley. Hey, bud. Sorry I didn't make it to MegaCon. Hope it was a great one. Yeah, I was looking for you the next day. Some of your friend said you were going to be coming. But that's cool. No worries. Ted Lehman says Graham is greater than the Yankees. And who am I to argue with that? LOL, is bad luck Fraga gonna be late? He is not late. Joe Bernardo is here and Dolomite. It was good to meet you at MegaCon. Had a lot of fun. Awesome. All right. Well, we got some professionals that are sitting in the back room, waiting to be introduced. So, why should we wait any longer? First, we're gonna bring the boom into the room with Mr. Dan Fraga.
Hello.
Good evening,
Happy
Dan.
Brothers Day.
Happy Brothers Day.
Good to see you. Good to see the chat. Really excited about tonight's topic. I had to dig deep. I came up with 3. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
They're all way in the past, which is great.
Yeah. Well, you hope you learn.
Yeah.
What not to say or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. And he's really the second man tonight, but in all reality, this is the first man himself, Mr. Andy Smith.
Oh, well, hello, everybody. Good evening to my brothers in arms. Happy Brothers Day.
Happy Brothers Day.
Happy Bald Brothers Day.
Yeah.
That's right. I don't know, Dan. You need to shave it up.
Yeah, you do. You got a lot of hair on the sides there, dude.
I know. A lot of gray hair.
Look at that.
I'll be shaving it up probably tomorrow.
Okay.
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Get her down.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Okay.
And the Wraith himself, Mr. Aaron Lepresti, joins the stream. Bada bing.
Gentlemen,
There he is.
Ooh,
here's my shiny dome.
That looks freshly shorn. Yes.
Freshly shorn.
That's right, Dan. Clean it up, man.
That's bald vernacular for those who have hair.
That's right.
Clean it up, man.
I did mine today, this morning as well. So.
Tomorrow's my day.
All
now,
right.
Billy texted me, said he'll be in a few minutes. And of course, Art's late. So everybody in the chat knows that. So they'll be getting in here.
Who's got Art's number to text that guy? Jeez.
Look at these four bald heads.
I don't think he's fully embraced the 7 o'clock start time.
I know, right?
I don't think he ever embraced that there's a show because he would always ask us when we were on a regular Thursday, he'd go, "What time?" It's like same time as always.
Right.
He
same time.
He did say in our chat that he really doesn't have any embarrassing moments because he's perfect. So
I've seen him embarrassed. Well, no, he's got no shame. I think that was what it boils down to.
Hey, Jay Bama fan. Jay Bama fan and his lovely wife were at MegaCon.
Oh,
we hung out. We had a wonderful steak dinner.
I saw you guys do the flex off too. You guys had some lumber.
I missed that.
It was fun. It was fun. Thanks, Jay, for the $2 super chat. Much appreciated. All right. Well, while we're waiting for those bums to show up, maybe we can just get started. What do you think?
Might as well roll on. Show must go on, right? The show must go on.
Hold the phone, people.
Uh-oh.
The T-Man himself has just shown up.
Ahead of Billy Tucci. Not T for Tucci, but T for T-Bear.
That's right. T for the T-Bear.
Look at that.
Whoa! It's perfect T.
Yeah.
Look at
perfect T.
His hair is nicely combed for tonight, just showing off his perfection. Yeah, look at that.
Happy Brothers Day, Art, because today is National Brothers Day.
Cool, man. So we have to be nice to each other.
No, we're brothers. We don't have to
brothers are never nice to each other. Come on,
screw that.
You have to be honest.
We uplift.
That's what brothers are. They're honest.
Yeah, exactly. We uplift even if it hurts.
Yeah. Does this jacket make me look fat? Yeah, fatso.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah. How about pushing away from the table a little earlier?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, are we drinking tonight, brothers?
Water.
You are.
Yeah, apparently you are. Art's drinking every day.
I just finished dinner. I'm full.
Yeah, so did I.
I just finished dinner too. You wussy boy. Come on.
Wow.
Dinner in a can and an 8 haggis.
Get a beer.
Loaf of bread.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started, and Billy will slide in a little bit, I'm sure. His son is recovering from that collarbone surgery, so he might be tied up a little bit there. So, Dan, why don't we lead off with you?
All right.
Give us an embarrassing story in comics that happened to you, either as a fan or as a pro.
I'll go in chronological order. I think 2 of the times I did not cause it upon myself. I just felt embarrassed.
That's a great setup, by the way.
Yeah. The middle one I definitely caused on my own. So this first one was very first comic convention I ever went to, and I also did a TV show at the time. It was a live. It was a high school thing. You pick AV as an elective, and it was after school, and you either chose to create and host a channel, be a cameraman, run behind, all the behind the scenes, camera 1, camera 2, the broadcast director. Of course, I chose, I wanted to host a show on comics. So I go to my first convention and I film a bunch of stuff. And I remember one thing specifically, and thank God the footage exists of me doing a report about this instance. I didn't give quite as detailed as I will today. But things change. People change. This was 1988 WonderCon. I see Art Adams. Never met him before. It's when he had long red hair. I don't know if you guys remember that, but Art Adams used to have
good
long
old
red
days.
hair.
Oh, yeah.
Seen it.
Yeah.
And I'd never seen original art before. And he had a stack of original art. And a lot of it was Asgardian Wars, inked by Terry Austin. Some of it, of course, inked by Mike Mignola, Al Milgram, or Al Gordon, art himself. And I'm holding it, and I can't believe it. And I'm flipping through it, and the magic is oozing into my hands. And Art Adams turns to me, and he goes, "Hey." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Are you going to buy any of that?" And I said, "Well, it's for sale. How much is it?" And God, I wish I had this money then. They were only like $200 a page, but in $1988, that was like, $700, $800.
Yeah.
They're worth like 10,000.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But again, I'm 14 years old, and I'm like, "Nah, man, I don't have that money, that kind of money." And he said, "Then put them down." And
he saw the chocolate all over your hands.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a sloppy kid. I wasn't like a messy, gross kid. I just remember thinking like a few things, like, "Oh my God, did I completely fuck up?" Is it like, because it's your first show, you don't know how it goes, and I'm like, did I fuck up? But then as I'm walking away, I just remember thinking, "Oh, that guy's a fucking prick." Like I'm a fan. Like that. Like when I was there, I was embarrassed as shit because I was like, "Naughty dog, you peed on the rug." Like, "Oh, so sorry." But you start thinking about it, and you're like, that dude should be glad I was looking at his work. Like, through your head. But Art and I remember on the show, it's on the internet, it's on YouTube. I remember I did a review and I said, "Yeah, that Art Adams guy is kind of arrogant," and like I was like, giving the full report. But that was the first time I was a fan, and I just was very, very, very embarrassed by that encounter.
Wow.
But it was cool to see that work, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
Well, I can see why you'd be, embarrassed because he sort of did a dick thing to you there.
He did. But like I said,
it's
people
not how you
change.
handle that, and I'll bet you
People
today you wouldn't handle it that way.
Oh, never. It's those lessons that, I look at everybody's work. You talk to people's kids. Because this is an experience for them. For maybe for Art at the time, it's easy to go back because if I go 88, Art, I think he's 10 years older than I am. So if I'm 14, he's like 24.
Mm-hmm.
He's brash.
22. Do your math.
No, I said 10
you said 8 years older, right?
10 years older.
No, 10.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
1988, 10 years old.
He was
Well,
born,
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed now.
Oh, great. That's Aaron's story.
Yeah.
Don't have a hearing aid.
April
And
of
Graham thought I
63.
was going to be the guy to do that.
His is April. But no, Art and I have been pals. We became friends since, and like he was one of those guys. Him and Neil Adams were guys that when I initially met them, we kind of did this, and then eventually we were like, "Yay!"
Well, that's the best thing is like it started off. There was a little tension, well, at least on your end, there was a little bit of tension and embarrassment. Sure. But then you became good friends after that. So it's a good story, man.
Yeah.
You should remind him every once in a while now about his dickish behavior.
You should just walk up to his table, pick up some artwork. Artwork, start looking through it, and just be like, "And I don't plan on buying any of it either."
Yeah.
What do you think about that? As your
You know what? I'm going to call my next professionals dickish behavior.
Yeah.
How many times was somebody a dick to you at a con?
Yeah, I got to come back for more.
I have a Bill Sienkiewicz story I'll tell on that one.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
But Dan, don't you like I have the same kind of regret, and I'm sure you do too. Like if you just had $200, right, or like a couple, like maybe $400 or $500 right now, you would be probably like $30,000 richer.
I really hope you follow through with the big dick stories, and I don't mean like big dicks. I mean people who act like big dicks. Yeah. Because I have a Glenn Danzig. Yeah, big fucking dick story that we'll save for that show.
The Big Dick Show.
Yeah,
Oh,
Big Dick Show. Yeah, so it just put "Sick My Duck" as the thumbnail, and just watch people go nuts.
But I think the same thing, like with Art Adams, is like I thought it was great money at the time, right? You know, when I worked with them, so I'm selling this stuff, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, like it's 10 years later. It's doubled, tripled. It just keeps going up.
Crazy
and I didn't
money.
save not one single page.
Yeah, crazy money.
Yeah.
man.
Who would have thought?
All right, Andy, what do you got?
This goes back to the early 90s. I want to say 92 or 93. I was working at Marvel, and it was one of those times, you remember back then, you could just basically go up to Marvel and they'd let you in. You could just walk around and go door to door to talk to editors and stuff.
Not me.
And
Embarrassing, Art.
They saw me. They saw me coming.
They're like, oh no. And at this point, there's no internet, no emailing and stuff. And I know I had a couple phone conversations with Bob Harris, he wasn't the editor-in-chief yet. He was still just the head honcho X-Men guy,
Right.
Head X-Men editor. And I knew that it was a few months before, maybe a year before, him and his wife had, they just had twins. And, so you want to be nice with some small talk and stuff. So I walked into his office and, I'm kind of nervous and stuff because, this is an X-Men guy, And I was like, hey, Bob, you got a couple minutes? Just want to, show you some stuff, talk to you. He's like, oh, yeah, sure. So I walk in and I'm like, so how those boys doing? Twins. Wow. And he just looks up and he goes, they're girls. just like that, deadpan. And I go, kids, what are you going to do?
That was your out?
I had no I was just
That was your out?
Dude, I was so like, oh my God. In my head, I was like, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me.
You could cover for it and just go, I didn't want to assume their gender.
Yeah, this is 93. That's way
I know, but I'm just saying, if it was now, you could have the perfect line.
Right, if it was now.
There's the Tooch.
There's the Toochmeister.
Sorry, boys. Very, very sorry. Sorry.
Happy Brothers Day.
Happy Brothers Day.
Happy
Billy.
Brothers Day.
Is today Brothers Day?
Today's Brothers Day.
Mother's Day.
The bros get their own day?
That's right.
Yeah, just for
Oh
us.
my God. Should we drink then?
Any excuse, right?
That's right. That doesn't look alcoholic, so Billy's safe.
It's not, but I can go vodka in it. It's a
Oh,
thing.
there you go.
There you go.
What is with those bottles? My wife has that exact same bottle.
That's my wife's health and wellness company. Arma.
What's it called?
That's how I was able to do 11 push-ups yesterday.
A whole 11, huh?
What's the push-ups? I saw that in the chat. What's this push-up thing?
Hang on a
Ethan
second.
came in and had his camera like really high up till you see the floor behind him, and he's like, all right, we're all going to do push-ups.
Oh, okay.
10, that's all we asked. So he had
I wouldn't have been able to do it. I wouldn't have
Kelsey
been
said
able
he's
to.
a 300-pound chain smoker, and he did 9.
Yeah, I did my 10, but I did them all off camera.
Yeah, Art did
I
his
did
off
100
camera.
off camera.
Rini almost made Art's dog attack him again because she was squealing or whatever.
Oh my
Squealing.
gosh, my dog went freaking bonkers, man. She's like, ah!
He's got
Lazarus
a bitch
did.
on her that does that to dogs, I think.
Yeah.
So then I did 11. I started doing it. I was doing it pretty quick. I'm like, why am I doing this? So I did 11.
Yeah, Billy was very humble because he just outdid everybody by 1. He didn't want to destroy everybody with 20 or 30 of them.
Hey, this morning, 21. Thank you
All
very much.
right.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Working that shoulder again, getting back
Yeah,
into
it hurt. It still hurts like the dickens, but I'm doing it anyway.
Well, you know what you should do, Aaron? You should just do one arm push-ups like Sly on your good arm.
There you go.
Yeah, that was back in the really good old days.
Man.
Not currently, though.
Yeah, I missed that because Ethan had to had to dump his stream because he was having computer issues. So it went over to John's, and it was like 9 o'clock, and I was beat from the convention I was at over the weekend, so I just called it at night. But I would love to have seen that. So,
It got off the hook towards the end there.
Man, I
after Billy left, or
I
just
missed it
before Billy left,
completely.
it started getting crazy.
We'd been in a hotel from Tuesday night till like right after Professionals. We went to a hotel, and today is the first day we get to sleep at home.
I'll
Is that
tell you,
because
your
of the-
wife. Yeah, your wife broke my heart with her Facebook thread.
Oh, you saw all the dirt and all the
Yeah, but she's also talking about like usually you go to hotels to get away from it all. She goes, being, like I love my kids, but being in a hotel, with all these kids and stuff like that, it's not that cool.
See, she's different than me because I don't publicly we're talking about it right now, but like I don't make posts like fuck they're da da da, like unless it's happening and I'm like I can't believe it, but like
you're when you saw the flood, you're just like oh fuck,
yeah,
right.
But like yeah, I mean I'm in the same room as her, experiencing the same shit.
Yeah.
Hey, project's done poorly. Thank you for that $5 super chat. I've noticed the guys not saying anything about push-ups can do lots of them. Cecil Graham? I'm not sure.
The guys who are not saying about doing push-ups can do lots of them. So you and Cecil can do lots of push-ups.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm
Well,
not
it's a given that we would expect Graham to be able to knock out a few.
Well, Cecil's been working out though.
Oh, has he?
Yeah.
True.
Like
Well, you know what this all was, Billy? It was definitely Ethan setting us up because he's been working out. So he wanted to show off.
Yeah, that poor bastard,
Ethan would have
man.
brought it up.
He was hanging on his table like this. He thought he was going to die. He's like,
If you can only do 10, that's not doing a lot of working out. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
But-
that's-
Well, in a short period of time, though, I
I
mean,
was trying to tell him strong lifts, Graham. I was saying strong lifts. And
Get on him, boy. Get on him.
All right, no one listens. Okay.
All right, Andrew, are you done with your story?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said,
That's
Billy,
a
you might
lot
have
of
missed it.
humiliation in a few words.
Yeah.
Right.
can we-
It was the shortest amount. Billy, I don't know. You've missed it probably. I walked into Bob
did.
Harris's office. He was a big X-Men editor at the time in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And it was probably I don't know, the year before. I know him and his wife had twins. And to make that small talk and break that ice, I was like, so how those boys doing? And he just looked up at me real stone cold and he just goes, they're girls. And I was like, okay. I'll just show my way out.
Yeah,
Back
It's
right
a flip
up.
of a coin, really.
Yeah,
You had a 50-50 chance, man.
yeah.
I did, and I blew it.
Then you really became little Andy.
I did. I did.
Yeah.
Ah.
Where
How about you,
where
Aaron?
you really double
Well-
down, though, Andy, is you go up to him and you just go, you know what? I would really like to work in the X office. You can just like look at him real sincere, and it's like, yeah, I think I could kick ass for you guys.
That's
Yeah,
right. Just
that's what I should have done.
doesn't matter what sex your twins are. I can do the job.
Who cares,
Yeah,
man? Who
it's
All
when
right.
The doctor assigns them to that sex, what they think the baby sex
That's
is.
true.
So,
That's
They
true.
choose it
It's open
themselves.
for interpretation.
it's not
I
real.
have so many stories. It's ridiculous. I don't know where to begin, but this is a good one because this
Begin
involves.
with Bernie Wrightson.
I know. Well, this. Which one do you want? This fits into that sort of category where Aaron got yet another celebrity to hate him. So here's what happened.
I love these stories.
I know.
Yeah.
So do I.
Okay, here we
These
go.
are the
This is a quasi celebrity. So I'm in my booth in San Diego, and I'll just set this up for what happened the prior year, and then okay. So this guy comes up to me, young guy, very sort of like erratic, fast talking, blah blah blah. It turns out that it's John Landis's son, right? And so, and they were doing that. There was I think it was on like Showtime or something. HBO had like like this horror anthology series, and one of them was Jennifer, the Wrightson story in Creepy Magazine. I can't remember what the name of that show was, but anyway, he was telling me I'm Landis's kid, and we talked for the longest time, and he was like he had written one of these episodes right for this thing.
No nepotism there at all.
No, of course not. He was, I'm sure, immensely talented. So
Maybe
Anyway,
someday he'll
so
kill a celebrity.
the next year, here I am at San Diego again. Matt Idelson, who I was working with on something, was the editor of whatever I was working on, was sitting there next to me. We were talking about whatever the project was, right? up comes John Landis's son, and I admit right now I can't remember his first name off the top of my head, but it's not what I called him. So anyway, we start talking and blah blah blah, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, we should do this and blah blah blah," and, you know, and then I go, "Well, that's great, Matt, thank you." And his name's not Matt, but I was sitting next to Matt Idelson, and that's why I had Matt in my head, right? And he looks at me, and he goes, "What did you call me?" And I went, "Oh," I go, "I'm sorry." I go, "I'm sitting next to Matt Idelson. That's why I said it. I really meant to say, you know, whatever his name was, Mark."
Max or something.
He freaking lost his mind. He was so pissed. He was just like, "I can't believe it. You know, I thought we were friends, and you can't even blah, blah, blah." Storms, just yelling and screeching, and storms off.
Whoa.
And I'm like, "Wait, dude, I'm sorry."
What a bitch.
What was
Yeah.
his expectations, man? Like
I mean,
It's only been a year.
dude, he lost his mind and then just took off, and I've never heard from him again. And I was looking over to Idelson's cracking up. I'm like, "Come on." I mean, you know, I was trying to explain to him, you know, this guy's Matt Idelson. He was just talking to him. That's why I said Matt. And
Well, his name is Max.
Max, that's right. Max.
Right.
So I called him Matt instead of Max. And he just, oh my gosh. It was like I
Entitlement.
could not have disrespected him anymore. You know, and I caught it almost immediately. "What did you call me?" I went, "Oh, I'm sorry, Max. I meant, you know," and that was it.
I think that's actually not
That's it,
embarrassing.
Ron. I'm leaving.
Yeah, that's right. Ron.
And then,
That's
and then
actually
you
more
said- and-
embarrassing for him than you. Like that's actually a cool story for you.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a good
Yeah,
story
but it
for
was
you.
still kind of, you know, there's people standing around, and, you know, someone.
I know, but you pissed off, you know.
Not only that, but he's the one that stormed off. I'd be really embarrassed if I was him for sure.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
pissed
and
off
then-
Max Landis. Was that or before or after his dad? You know,
killed Vic Morrow.
killed those
Yeah, that's-
guys
yeah,
with
that's
Vic
a-
It
Morrow.
was after.
Hey,
was after.
hey, let's not lose our heads over this.
He was, too soon. No,
I
he
really
had
thought
done.
you were going to say, "So what's it like to be the son of a murderer?"
Oh my gosh! To see that.
But I'm
Oh.
hearing your stories, dude. You say some, you know.
Yeah, he
off
took so
color
many
things.
shortcuts on that movie. Bastard.
No, I paid
Vic
for it.
Morrow. He killed Sergeant Saunders from combat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
never
it
forget.
happens. You know, war is hell.
That's right.
At least it was a war scene.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. Could imagine it was like in a church. It's like a cowboy movie, but it's in a church.
No, I don't want to imagine.
oh yeah.
And
And
an
you
actor
point the
shoots-
gun.
Yeah, and an actor
And it-
shoots somebody, and
Yeah.
that's the worst.
That would never happen because they're very safe on sets.
That's right.
But I did, honestly, I felt really horrible that I didn't, you know, that I did that.
Yeah.
But then I felt really bad when he was stormed off. So I said, "Man, I really offended this guy." And it was just so
Okay, Art.
Okay. Well, I
That's
I-
hysterical. Okay,
have absolutely-
Billy.
Well, I was gonna say I don't have. You know, I am the perfect T.
You should switch Art and Billy. It gives Art more time to think of something.
No, I have one. I'm just bullshitting. Yeah. Okay. I actually have a couple as well, but so in the old days, I used to party pretty hard, especially at the San Diego Comic-Con. And this was when it was at the Civic Center. So this is the smaller show. And so my friends and I we would get ripped, man. And so it was the morning. I had an interview with Bob Harris. So this is a Bob Harris story too, Andy.
oh no.
And so I think I had just kind of started working on some X projects and things like that. So I think he was going to, you know, pick my brain and see if there's anything else I could do, you know, if I had time to do in the office and all these other things. It's time to blow fatty.
Seriously, how's that not your most embarrassing?
You knew it was
Yeah.
coming up.
The
So
scary thing is, it was the same fatty that you kept blowing on that.
you know what, Billy? It's always the same fatty.
That shows Art's good at it. He's got repeat customers.
Well, I have a preference. I have a preference. I have a type. I have a type, if you will.
Arbuckle.
So this was completely serious, but I shouldn't have said this. So we didn't party the night before because I knew that I needed to talk to Bob and all this other stuff. So, and it was first thing in the morning. So we kind of meet in the lobby, and we're both kind of walking towards the floor, the convention floor, and we're just hanging out and just talking. And then as soon I had my sunglasses on, because I usually did that so people couldn't see my crazy eyes, and so I'm walking into the show, and it's just really bright. I mean, it's a convention, so I took off the shades, and I said, whoa, so this is what it looks like. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, the convention. I go, this is the first time I've ever been sober at a
Holy shit.
So yeah, that was it.
Damn.
Yeah, and I guess it worked out okay for me.
He liked to hear you talk that way. He's like, my man.
I'm going to be your boss. Yeah. So yeah.
As long as you didn't misgender his kids, he doesn't care what you say.
Yeah, that's the worst. Who would do that?
I know.
Monsters.
Monsters would, exactly.
Is one of his daughters named Max?
And I think they're both Pat. So I was like, well, it goes both ways. No, I don't know.
Pat's Dean. All right. Is Billy up? Top that, Billy Tucci.
Oh, I think he can.
Okay.
Billy can always top us with this story.
No. All right. So we're gonna tell a real story. So you want to tell a real story, right? All right. I've never.
Make it up, Billy. Lie to us, please.
Okay. Yeah. So, it's famous comic book creator that we all know his name, and so we were all hanging out. We were drinking at San Diego, and for some reason we got the Marriott, and I got a suite. They gave us a suite with a living room, 2 bedrooms. So I'm like, holy shit, we got a suite. Come to our room. So we're sitting there, drinking and stuff like that. And we find out that, they're swingers, so it's like, oh my God.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we're like, oh boy. And so we, we're drinking and stuff, and one thing leads to another, whatever. And they're like, well, fuck it. So, why not? You only live once. So they go off in one room, we go off in the other. And,
You and that guy?
We do it, we get it on pretty fucking crazy. About half
you and Max.
And then I just turn to him and I say, so what do you say we go check up on the girls?
Okay. Good. Good.
You knew where that was going.
Okay.
I really thought something was about, but I didn't know you were telling a joke. I fucked you up, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You blew the punchline.
Yeah,
you're better than a fatty.
Yeah,
but if I got his punchline.
Come on, that's pretty damn good, ain't it? Come on, let's go check up on the girls.
That's good.
Damn it. So, all right. So, swing sensation. Yeah, blown fatties. I was blowing fatties.
Billy's like, there I was, bent over. I looked over my shoulder and said, "What say we go check up on the girls?"
Yeah. And Art said, okay.
You gotta go with the flow, man. When in Rome.
Art's like, okay, I guess.
A little salt.
But I got an embarrassing story that I was pissed, and I never did another Wizard show after this. Pissed. So, it's always guests and stuff for the thing.
You have to be embarrassed. That's the criteria, not pissed.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was embarrassed. No, I was totally embarrassed. So it's me and Jimmy, and I never told the story either. I told Debbie. And so we're at Chicago Con. We're at the green room, and her name was Allison. Really nice. She worked for Wizard. And they had bought the Chicago Comic-Con years before. So Jimmy's like, hey, you want to go? Now they give me a free table, right? But and this is when things got, real bad, early 2000s or whatever. So, you're like, well, we'll give you a free table, but we can't afford to fly you in and pay for, or pay for your hotel. I would do well at those shows and stuff anyway. So I'm like, all right, fine. Why not? Debbie's like, we need the money. You got to do these conventions, right? I mean, I had family. So I fly myself in, get myself a hotel. Or they in the hotel, everybody's in. They give me the free table. Of course, it says,
You know what, Billy?
Citizen Ronin for the win.
Yeah. Hang on. He gets a gong for that sucker. Anyway, so Yeah, so Jimmy, so Jimmy doesn't know this. Palmiotti doesn't know I'm not a guest because it says guest list, and they put all your names right on it. You're a guest of the comic creators, in the magazine or and all this crap. So so Jimmy's like, well, let's go to the green room, get something to eat. They got little chips and shit. They had nothing good. So Jimmy and I sitting there, and then I see one of the guys over at Wizard, and I see him talking to Allison or whatever, and and she walks over. It's like, Billy, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to leave
because you're not a.
I'm like, what? She goes, yeah, you're not a guest. And Jimmy's like, what are you talking to? Is Billy Tucci? What do you mean? She's like, yeah, it's not my call, but you can't stay. And I had to leave the fucking green room.
Oh man,
that's humiliating.
That's humiliating.
Yeah, right. So you want to embarrass? I'm like, all right, fuck you guys. So that was that.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pissed, right? I mean, even you could have, if that was, and dude, it wasn't like they had food there. They had chips and
right. Yeah.
Maybe like a chili
you
bowl.
had access to Jimmy Palmiotti, which you're not a guest. So
yeah, I guess so, right? Because so Jimmy and Amanda were because they were doing Harley Quinn or whatever or Marvel Night. Yeah, I think it's so. He was a guest, and right there in front of Jimmy, and he poor made Allison do that to whoever one of the Wizard guys was. So
wow.
Damn.
All great stories begin with alcohol.
Yes.
And in 2001, I was at the Reuben Awards. It's the big National Cartoonist Society Awards ceremony they do every year. It's a black tie event, and it goes to different cities every year. And this year it was in like West Palm Beach, Florida. Beautiful high rolling area. It's always that way. And so there's a big gathering night, party before the big presentation night, which is where you wear your black tie stuff. So there was a dinner and all that kind of stuff. And I got to meet Jack Davis there and Mike Peters and a whole bunch of really cool cartoonists. And then I get introduced to Mel Lazarus. Now, Mel is one of the great American cartoonists. He had two very, very popular strips, Mama and Miss Peach. And he also did, he was also in charge of like the National Cartoonist Society. At one time, he was a president. He had done comics for DC Comics back in the 50s. The guy's, he was a legend. And this woman introduces me to him. She says, "Hey, Mel, this is Graham Nolan, and he just started working on Rex Morgan, MD." Which I had the year before, and this was the first Reuben's ceremony after that. Now I've had a few pops in me, and I genuinely loved Mel Lazarus's work and his strips, particularly Miss Peach. I love that strip. And so I say to him, I go, "Oh, Mel, big fan. I love your strips. I love Mama and he goes, Miss Peach. And I go, yes, of course, Miss Peach. Now I look like a dick because I say I'm a big fan and I can't remember a strip. And without missing a beat, he goes, so how long have you been drawing, Judge Parker?
Nice.
Hey, Graham, when you join the National Cartoonist Society, can you just go to that black tie affair, the Reuben Awards, or do you have to?
Well, you have to pay for it.
You have to pay for it, and it's expensive because you're paying for. You got to get a tux. You have to fly to. It's always a destination point, and there's you have to pay for the dinners and all that kind of stuff. It's in the hotel. They give you discounted rates and everything because of the Reubens and everything, but still, it's a lot of money out of pocket.
Yeah, it ain't cheap. I mean, I've wanted to go, but you start adding up everything. You're like, poof, like $1,500, $2,000. I'm good.
Yeah.
And Billy, you have to be invited, or you'll get there and they'll ask you to leave.
Oh! Boy, it's a tough room. Damn,
that's a ding.
I never told that story. I'm now Billy the loser.
No, Billy the loser.
Billy, don't be a loser. Get out of the Wizard green
Definitely
room.
On Bros Day, we are treating each other as bros.
That's right.
Oh yeah,
True bros.
True bros. And you're a fucking asshole, Aaron, for saying that.
Thank you. That's my next story of humiliation, courtesy of Billy Tucci.
Man, Aaron's just making them up as we go along.
Oh, I got plenty.
Twirly Wolf says, I embarrassed myself in front of Graham. I was so enamored meeting him at MegaCon, I ignored my wife. Also, I never know what to say meeting you guys. Dope.
Well, we never know what to say to you either. So we're we're even.
Well, actually, Aaron, with your stories, you know exactly what to say to people, or the wrong thing to say.
The wrong time, the wrong thing to say at the wrong time. I am the king, baby.
True.
That's when you learn just to go, hey, man. Hey,
Dude, bro.
Right.
hey,
What's
bro.
up, man?
What's up?
Hey.
Give the old good to see you. Good to see you.
That's right.
It always starts like a joke. Hey, what did Bernie Wrightson say to Aaron Lopresti? Who are you?
Exactly. No, don't you hate it when you're sitting at your booth at a convention, right? And you've got your banners behind you, right? And it's usually an artist maybe you haven't seen in 20 years, right? And they come up and they'll say, Aaron, it's so good to see you. And you're like, I can't think of this guy's name.
Yes.
You're looking at the badge, it's flipped
turned
over.
around.
And you're like,
turned around. Those badges never
No, they're
face
always turned around.
Yep. And it happens to me all the time because I'm not great with names anyway, unless it's people I'm in constant contact with. And it always happens, and it's like, it's unfair advantage. They got the banner behind me to
and the same is true with fans. Like, you'll have met them, at, like, say, MegaCon, like 8 years ago, and they come up and they start talking to you, and I recognize faces. I never forget a face.
Yep.
But names, oh my God, I can't remember names. I mean, I met people this weekend, I can't remember their names already.
You got to roll it. You got to Rolodex it in your head, but there's only one Graham Nolan though.
Faces I get, and I just feel bad about that, like, unless they say something they key in on, you did this drawing for me, and that drawing stuck in my head, or there was an event or something that happened around it, then I can remember it, but.
Yeah, I recognize the faces, and then I wow them with the story of how we met, and then they're like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter at that point if you know their name or not."
That's right. You remember,
Andy, Rob from North Carolina was at the show.
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Yeah. And he comes up to my table and he's talking to me, and he's got a hat on, and I don't recognize him at all. I'm like, did he lose weight too?
I think so, yeah.
He
right?
might have a little bit, but it depends also if he's clean shaven. He looks,
Yes, because he had a beard on, and I did not recognize him. And then he says, "Yeah, we were drinking whiskey at Mark Nelson's house in Houston." I'm like, "Really? I don't remember." And he goes, "Rob from South Carolina." I'm like, "Oh, geez, I felt so stupid, that I couldn't remember him,
Oh, it's a disguise. I mean, Clark Kent fucked everybody over with a hunch and some glasses. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh.
All right, Mr. Frege, you're up next if you have another one.
I do. I have two more. I'll just, like I said, chronological. This one was all on me. I had been at Extreme Studios for about a year or so, and we did our very first tour. Extreme Studios 93, and it was the very first time I'd ever been to New York City. This is February 93. We did Jim Hanley's Universe, a couple others. But more importantly, we had nightlife, and I was only 20, so we didn't really get to do too much, but there was a karaoke bar across the street from Madison Square Garden in the lobby of a hotel. And I'd never done karaoke before, so there's a gang of us. Rob's there, Byron Tallman, Marat Michaels, Chap Yape. Bunch of us are there, and I'd never actually seen karaoke. We've sang in our cars and showers and things, so we think we sound good. And I asked, how do you get to sing? I was like, you go through the book and you give a song and a number. I was like, yeah, okay. So I picked an ambitious song. It was a hit at the time on the radio by a group called Shy. If I Ever Fall in Love.
Nah, you always do the crowd pleaser. You do YMCA, man.
Yeah, well,
That's
I
right.
know this.
Yeah.
Danny Mickey did Ticket to Ride.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
And I remember he and Brian Murray would go back and forth with the microphone. I remember this day pretty well. So I'm like, all right, cool. And but you got to remember, this is New York City, across the street from Madison Square Garden. So people are going up. I'm probably maybe an hour in. So the guy who comes before me sings Me and Mrs. Jones,
Ooh.
you know, and
Great song.
it's perfect.
Wow, so he's like a real singer then.
Yeah.
it's not
It's
like-
perfect. It's perfect. This brother with a smoky voice, me and Mrs. Jones, and he was like out of the pocket. Yeah, and he would go in and out of the pocket. This guy like probably like
He
this
rehearsed it.
yeah, and all the ladies were like, he's so good, you know, and I'm like. The whole studio's there, and they're like, next up, you know, Frega, because I wasn't Frega Boom yet, you know, Frega. So I go, and there's two versions of this Shy song. There's a one with instrumental, and then there's one that's a cappella. Well, the one they put on was a cappella, so all you get is the background instrument, it's, you know, the background singers, but you're supposed to sing lead.
oh.
So I start singing, and I realize quite quickly I am way the fuck off pitch, and I don't know how to course correct.
Yeah, right.
You know, and there are plenty of notes that I cannot hit. Like when I'm singing it by myself, and I'm like, ooh, da da doo, I can totally sing it, but because I'm setting the key, I'm setting the pitch. But this karaoke version, you know, they're all going, boo, and I'm going, you know, and anyway, I could see Liefeld, and he's putting his hand, you just fucking shamed us, because we're all wearing our new Extreme Studios jackets that he had just got us for Christmas. So we all are representing Extreme Studios, and I'm up there, you know, with my Extreme on and not hitting a fucking note. All those ladies that were swooning over Mrs. Jones were like cackling and like being very embarrassed for the skinny white boy that was really just tearing up their eardrums. So yeah, I made it all the way through, and I just remember Rob telling me not to do that again.
Don't you do that.
But yeah, that was New York City, 1993, February 93.
Scar tissue.
Karaoke bar across the street from Madison
Nice.
Square.
Okay, Andy,
Wow.
can you beat that?
Probably not. No, because the only other one that really comes to mind, because I was really having a hard time. The first thing was the Bob Harris, and then the only other one was at a convention, but it was just me being embarrassed by myself for what happened. Nobody was around to see it, thank God.
Not a shark.
No. It was at a New York con, and it was in the early 90s, so I just got in. I wasn't married yet or anything, and I went up there with a buddy of mine, and we shared a hotel room. And, you know, after the show, we went out, we got really plastered, got back to the room, and pretty much passed out. Well, I had to get up in the middle of the night, use the bathroom. So I get up, I go to the bathroom door, I open it, and I'm like wobbly and everything. I am just plowed. Door shuts behind me. I look around. I'm like, oh shit, I'm in the hallway. I'm like, tidy whities. This is before Andy discovered boxer shorts. So I was in my tidy whities in the hallway of the hotel, just like. So I turn back, and of course the door is locked. I'm banging on it. My friend's not waking up because he's just shit-faced plowed, and I gotta go. So I just hit over to the elevator, press the button, and as soon as the doors open up, nobody's in the elevator. Thank God. Door shuts. I just hit the stop button. Just go right in the corner.
You peed in the elevator? Oh, God, nasty.
Now
I
I'm
had to
embarrassed for you. I'm embarrassed for you now.
How did you get back in the room?
I just kept banging on the door. After I went, I was still hammered, but I was more relaxed and not as urgent. So I just went back and just started banging on the door. There were no cell phones at this time, at least not, for most people. And he opened the door and I went back in and I'm like, damn it, did you hear me banging? He's like, no. So, it gets worse in between the. Well, see, look at that.
Donut
It's not so
box.
bad.
A donut box. It's a dookie. It's a
So
cookie.
I get back in the room, and between the two double beds are the lamps that are attached to the wall, and these lamps were swing lamps. So I was like, shut the light off, and I went to just kind of hit it to turn it off, and I swung my lamp into his, and the bulbs just shattered.
Oh,
Oh, this
no.
night just gets better and better.
It gets better and better. But we didn't deal with it until the morning. So then the morning, my friend got up first and he steps on the floor and his foot got cut on the broken glass.
At least it wasn't piss and glass.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then he got in the
Disaster.
elevator and he's like, what the hell is this?
What is that?
Smells like Andy.
So, yeah, that was bad.
Wow, that is so good, man.
They have cameras in the elevators now.
Yeah.
Oh my
Now.
gosh.
Well, now we know why.
What
Yeah.
show was that, Andy?
It was a New York show. I was in New York. So it was,
Oh, nobody would notice the smell then.
That's
Yeah.
the place
No.
to do it.
but this
Whole
is,
city
I
smells
can't
like
remember where it was at, but it was, it was quote unquote the New York show in the early
Reverse
90s.
show, maybe like at the Javits Center.
Javits.
Yeah,
Like
it was
Jane
probably
Bird
that. Yeah. So there you go.
Hey, Aaron, you are up, sir.
Well, it's funny. Most of my stories are about people humiliating me rather than me saying stuff. And so here's the epic. This is the classic. This is my go-to. This is the best one ever. So we're at WonderCon, and remember when it used to be in Oakland, and there was that
Broadway Marriott.
Yeah. And there was the balcony up there, not on the floor, but in the hotel. There was a bar up there, and
Yeah.
so me, Adam Hughes, Phil Noto, I think that was it. Art-wise, artist-wise, up there. But Adam was like completing some commissions for people that he didn't finish on the showroom floor, and so there was some, 4 or 5 fans up there, as well as Phil and me, and Allison was there, and so we're sitting there talking, and Allison goes, "Hey, Aaron, do you want to do a sketch of my book?" And I'm like, "Yeah, well, we're just sitting there doing nothing. Sure, I will." So I did this pretty elaborate, because it was, it's Adam Hughes' girlfriend / wife. Now, it's like, this has got to be good, right? So I'm really, doing this really nice poison ivy for her in this book, right? And so this has been going on for 45 minutes or whatever, or hour. And then these 2 couples come upstairs, right? And the bar is closed at this point. It's just us sitting, around this table. And they're drunk, right? And the dude, one of the, the main guy, he's got his beer in his hand. He's walking around and he looks over Adam's shoulder, and, he looks over, Phil's, and he comes over to me and he's looking down and he goes, "Wow." He goes, I can't believe it. I mean, this is such an honor to get to meet you, and blah, blah, blah. And when people start saying that to me, I know they think I'm somebody else, right? And so he's just ranting and raving, and I'm getting kind of puffy, thinking, yeah, this guy, because I'm working on this poison ivy thing. And he goes, "I just can't tell you what an honor it is to meet Adam Hughes in person." Adam Hughes is sitting right across from me on this coffee table. He puts his book up like this, and he is just cracking up. Right. And I'm just going like this, and suddenly I'm just, I go, not Adam Hughes. I go, that's Adam Hughes. And he's like, oh, dude. He goes, I'm so sorry, man. But he's like, hey, your stuff is good too. He goes, after all, he goes, you can't expect me to know every new guy that breaks into the industry. And I go, dude, I've been working in the industry for 15 years. And he's like, oh man. And at this point, everybody, the fans are just cracking up at my expense.
Oh my God.
And this guy is just, he's like, oh, dude. He goes, man, I'm so sorry. Because I told him my name, and he goes, you can't expect me to know everybody that just breaks into the industry. And so finally he goes, I better get out of here before I do any more damage. And him and his crew left. But poor Aaron, humiliated.
Oh God.
So they didn't go over and harass Adam Hughes?
No, he was too embarrassed. And he tried to, I mean, I was humiliated. He was embarrassed. And then he tried to make it better by saying, that, he had no idea who I was after I told him my name.
There's no digging out of that hole.
No.
Oh gosh, it was, Allison was making fun of me for that like 10 years after it happened. Every time I see him, every new guy. Oh,
all right,
boy.
Art, top that one.
Oh, well, I can't. And gosh, this is so hard because like I said, I am perfect. And this is really hard to figure these things out. So,
well, I've got one for you.
I know you do. I'm sure you all do. But that's not what this show's about.
That's not what this show.
Let's not get sidetracked.
Yeah, let's not make it personal. Come on, Graham. So it's a Wizard World. Like all these, the best stories are at conventions, right? So it's Wizard World, and do you guys know a guy named Mike Cotton?
Yeah.
I remember Mike Cotton.
Yeah, I always had a good time with Mike Cotton, just hanging out and stuff like that. And he's a low key partier. Like he doesn't let on, but the dude can party. And so it's Wizard World, and it's in the morning. And I don't really remember the setup, but I do remember just kind of walking, well, almost running like one of those romantic like slow motion runs across the floor. Yeah. And then I just remember Mike Cotton is like, and I went on and I just gave him the biggest hug. And then there's this moment, like we all have had experienced the handshake where the guy just doesn't let go of your hand, right? Like it's like, what are we doing here? Like, can I have my hand back, right? And so it's just like an uncomfortable like handshake. And so I'm just hugging the hell out of this guy, and I'm not letting him go. For whatever.
Are you putting your whiskers in his ear?
I'm whispering, hey, in his ear. But I didn't really realize like the length or the duration of this hug, and there might have been some, substances. I don't know. But so I'm hugging him, and then he just kind of looks at me because I think he was just trying to stay away. And then he looked at me face to face, and then he was just like his face was like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, but he was too polite to say anything. And then I was like, oh, hey, just good to see you. Good to see you.
What the fuck are you doing?
So yeah, it was a hug that went on a little too long. Yeah.
A long hug.
Now,
it was a long ass hug. Yes.
Just a little too long.
Oh my God, that kills me.
now, when you broke away, Billy, from Art, did you have another story?
Thank you.
It was a double hugger. Yeah, Billy was right there.
Yeah, it was glorious. Doesn't make you gay though.
No. Either
just ask the guy behind him.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it does make you gay.
Yeah, I got a story kind of similar to Andy. So I don't know if you guys know my pal Old Cap. Andy, you know Old Cap.
Oh yeah.
Old Cap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Graham knows Old Cap. So if you guys
Love
know
that
Old Cap, when he goes to conventions, he'll bring at least 2
Whiskey.
fifths of scotch.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And we'll drink that. Usually a night. He won, me one. So we're drinking scotch, and it was Dragon Con. So again, they gave me this big room. So I'm like, oh, Cap. He's like, I'll help you. And can I crash? I'm like, yeah, sure. So he crashes with me. It's a suite, right? So we're bomb, trash, just drinking all night. And finally we go to bed. And I always get the bed. Normally, I don't know, whenever I get the hotel room, I usually get the bed closest to the door, right? For some reason. If I'm, especially with my kids and stuff, I'll have the bed closest to the door is the one I stay if it's two beds. So this case though, I happen to get the one closest to the window. So similar to Andy, I got up probably 3 o'clock in the morning, Oh man, I gotta take a piss, So I'm just freaking stumbling, Go in there. The piss was successful, Fraga. Got it in the bowl, everything, which at least I think. So, wash my hands, flush it, wash my hands, get out, and I go, and I'm just crawling, trying to find my way back to bed. Get back into bed, get under them covers.
Oh no,
Those aren't pillows.
Those aren't pillows.
He goes, because my nickname's Kilroy. He calls me Kilroy because of that Sergeant Rock Lost Battalion. I was Kilroy, the war correspondent. He goes, "Whoa, Kilroy!" He's like, "Whoa!" Like, "Whoa!" We're like, "Whoa!"
What about those bears? Yeah.
How about the bears? Good show. And we just start laughing. So, so that was that. So then we go and we meet some people. I forget who it was, some comic people or whatever. And we're like, listen, we're going to smoke cigars on my balcony. You guys want to come to our room? Let's go to our room. So we had a bunch of people go to our room. And but what me and old Cap did was that I'm trying to remember. Oh, it was Jen Broomall. She's an artist, and her husband Shane, who's awesome. And so they come over, so I told them, I said, listen, we got two beds, we got this suite, and one bed, was the beds were both made, but we unmade one bed. So it looks like, we just slept in one bed. Like, I go to the bath, like, yeah, sure. So it's right in there. Shane gets to, he goes to the bathroom. So I see him coming out, and me and old Cap, we're sitting on the couch then, right? And we see him go in there, and he's a conservative and stuff like that. And old Cap just puts his arm around me, and I see Shane come walking out, right? And he's like,
he's trying to piece it together.
yeah. He's like, wait, one bed has definitely not been slept in. The other one looks like, like a war.
It's a wrestling match.
A war.
It's like the Odd Couple.
It's like a semen war everywhere. Oh my god!
Oh.
Oh.
Ding.
So then he comes out and me and old Cap sitting there with our arms around each other, and I just started laughing and stuff. But he's like, "Oh my god! I gotta be honest. I know what the hell to think." And that's when we told the story about me trying to, the night rape of me almost raping old Cap.
Oh.
Hey, you want to
That's
hear
what happens
embarrassing
when you
stories? I'm
drink a
telling
bottle
you.
of whiskey, Billy.
What?
That's what happens when you drink a bottle of whiskey. All inhibitions go away.
All
That's right.
That's right. Why do you think the Scottish wear skirts?
Oh my gosh! here we
Everything that
go.
once felt wrong, all of a sudden feels right.
It feels so right. Like blowing a fatty. Who cares,
Intervention.
man.
Intervention.
So my next story takes place at the Kubert School.
Going back in time.
I got embarrassed one time because I might have told the story on some other streams. I don't know if I told it on the Bros, but at the Kubert School, when Joe Kubert was teaching storytelling, after you finished an assignment, you always had to do a critique, and you put your pieces up, and the class would sit there, and Joe would stand there and point to it and talk to it and all that kind of stuff. And Joe was just a great educator, and he never wanted anybody to feel bad, but all the students knew who the kings were, right? And they knew who was not going to graduate, and go on to make it. You just knew, from the work that they were doing and everything. And this one guy's piece of work is up there, and it was horrible. And Joe was looking at it, and he even Joe was like, he's stymied about what to say. So he looks at it like this and goes,
That's what he used to do.
that is one hell of an attempt. So we go through all the critiques and stuff, and then we go back to our classrooms, right? And I'm standing in front of the classroom, and I go into my Joe Kubert impression. I'm like, Listen, and I go, and that's one hell of an attempt, and nobody's laughing.
Oh no.
He's right behind me, isn't he?
And I turn around, and there's Joe standing in the doorway looking at me, and he goes, "Nolan, you son of a bitch."
Oh, that is great.
Oh, that was a good one.
That's classic.
That was a good one to be embarrassed in front
That's
of. Yeah.
Joe too. I mean, that's how Joe was. So, yeah.
Yeah, he had a smile on his face, you know.
Oh yeah.
But,
Well,
I was embarrassed as soon as I turned around because I didn't know how it was going to play out.
Yeah.
You know, he could have teed off on me if he wanted to. You know, Joe was a big guy and very imposing. You know.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude.
Never got to meet him.
Oh,
Oh, you never got to meet Joe Kubert?
No.
neither.
You haven't lived until you stuck your hand into his vice-like grip.
exactly.
Is it like trying to shake a pack of hot dogs?
He was it was like no mercy. You know, you're like, dude, come on, I draw with this hand. Start taking competition out.
Hey, Dan, did you just make that up?
I imagine a big meaty hand, you know.
I got it. I just was that a saying around the Fraga household?
Yeah, shake Dad's hand like a pack of hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
You ever tried to blow a pack of fatties just at one time? And
One at a time.
One at a
flute.
time. That's good enough. Yeah. Try to roll those suckers going over speed bumps, man.
Oh,
Wait a minute, I got to give you context. In a car going over speed bumps.
no, thanks.
oh, jeez.
That's going to come back and haunt me.
Nah.
All right, Dan, you're up. You got one
Okay,
more?
yeah, this is the last one. This could fall into the big dick category, but I was embarrassed by this one. The Danzig one, I was not embarrassed. I was enraged. This one was embarrassing. It was San Diego '95. I'll set the stage. Waterworld was the big release of that summer. Everybody wanted to see Waterworld that went to that show. Got to meet Steranko, that show, really great. Rob Liefeld had a Youngblood spaceship at the show. He had a spaceship built that you
I
could
remember
walk
seeing that.
into
I
and-
remember that ship. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What show was that, Dan?
San Diego '95.
Okay.
So,
Oh, I was there in '95.
Yeah, I was there
Yeah.
too.
well,
Thanks for saying
What was
hi.
I?
good.
Yeah.
Well,
We all were there yet.
yet. So somebody comes up to me with a T-shirt with my face on it, a photograph of my face. They had taken a screaming headshot from Black Flag number 4 or 0, I believe, and put it on a T-shirt. And then they had taken a quote out of a magazine that I had said and took it out of context. So somebody had asked me about Black Flag toys, and my answer, and I can see why they did this. My answer was, man, if they made a gorilla toy, that would be awesome. In one hand, I'd have my big purple monkey, and in the other hand, I'd be drawing him. So I was explaining that I'd be excited to have my own toy, and I would be holding my toy, my big purple monkey.
Dude, I got to try that with Little Billy.
Yeah. And,
Draw in the
someone had taken that and made a word balloon and made it look like I was, jacking off. And they made T-shirts and they handed them out to people.
Oh shit!
And
I
I was
remember
like, oh, somebody's made a T-shirt and put my face on it. That's crazy. But then I thought, like, somebody's fucking making fun of me and putting them on shirts and wearing them around San Diego and kind of making me look like an ass.
Yeah,
So I had to get down to it and find out who the fuck did this. It was somebody that I didn't even know. He was a very popular cover artist. I don't even know if he was at the time. A guy named Reverend Dave Johnson.
Oh,
And he thought it would be so hilarious to make this T-shirt of a guy he'd never met. That I'd never met him. I didn't know him, but just thought it'd be so funny to make all these T-shirts with my face with the quote and hand them out to people to wear at the show to make me look like an asshole. So I was.
So many calories burned just to hurt somebody.
Right. This guy's Master SJW, by the way. But what's funny to me though is that somebody I'd never met, didn't know, looked at me from the outside because I was at Extreme, whatever, thought, oh, look at this funny quote, jack off joke. Let's make a shirt of it and publicly shame this guy at the biggest comic show in the land. I was definitely embarrassed. Yeah. And I was pissed, super pissed. He thought it was funny and harmless, all that other shit. But
did you ever confront him, Dan?
Yeah, he and I we talked about it. In fact, when I came over to Comicsgate, it was right after I had interviewed him and another one of his guys. And when I said, this is before I even said I am Comicsgate, I just was like, yeah, I got no problem with those guys. Ethan's fucking awesome. I love this book. And, I got a call from him telling me to pull my interview. You can't post the interview you did with me, and you can't do the one with so and so either. And I said, well, what? Why? Well, because Comicsgate, they're a bunch of this, that, and the other. And I said, no, they're not. You lay with dogs, you get fleas. That sort of thing. And I said, dude, name one thing these guys actually did. And he couldn't. And I said, but and this is when I brought it up to him. I said, I could come right back at you and say, I shouldn't be talking to you. You did that shit in San Diego in '95. And he goes, oh, come on. We were kids. It was harmless, and wanted to kind of sweep it, and that was his attitude on it. And that I just saw like, this is the kind of human being I was dealing with. But I didn't mean to get into this mode at all. But that was the last time I was embarrassed.
But
it was at that show.
To make it worse, I got to be honest with you. At that show, Art and I were up on the roof of the convention center blowing a fatty, and he came up with this idea. He said we could buy those shirts and put them on eBay. So we bought a dozen of them from Dave, put them on eBay, and made a mint.
How did you guys have eBay in '95? You guys?
Well, no, they sat on them.
Aaron.
Oh, okay.
Fist bump.
Oh, wait, by the way, there we go. Boom, there it is. We're entrepreneurs.
But what's crazy? What's crazy is I would fucking kill for one of those shirts. And I'd actually rock the shit out of it.
So hey, Dave, if you want to, Art Blue of Fatty T-shirts, go for it.
Yeah.
You know what? The good thing is that my shirt still fits.
If you got one, Graham,
he's got one. Graham. Oh, you mean this shirt, Dan?
We're all like, what, this?
Oh my gosh! Would that be the best professionals if we all had one of those shirts?
If we knew like that story, and they were like, dude, even we just made, and then also we were like, yeah.
Guys, I have a fourth story.
Oh my God.
That was it. That was the story.
That's a great one. How about you, Andy? You got another one?
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I definitely didn't save the best for last, I don't think, but it was one of the first times I met Neil Adams. I went up to his table. It was in San Diego, and he always had new sketchbooks or stuff for sale. And this is a long time ago, before he was charging for signatures and stuff, where basically if you bought it, he would sign it. And I picked up a sketchbook, made a little small talk and stuff, and then so all right, well, I want to get this, and he goes to sign it, and I was like, no, don't sign it.
Oh.
He goes, you don't want me to sign it? And I go, no, I really don't care about signatures. Because I don't. I really don't. Right. I've never really been a signature collector and stuff. I just wanted the book.
You didn't want to deface your book.
I just don't write on my near mint copy. What are you, crazy?
It was a sketchbook. It wasn't like it was a comic or something. So I was just like, no, I'm good. And he did have this little, like you could tell that he's not used to people going, no, I don't want your signature.
I don't want your dirty signature.
Just
I
give
don't
me
want
the
your
book.
$50 signature on my
Don't
book.
pollute
But that
my-
just said it was free back then. So
Oh,
yeah.
now see,
That's what he
funny
started
'cause
charging right after that.
I will never get a comic book signed because I treat them as high-end collectibles and I don't want someone writing on them. But when I get like a book, like a book, like the art of somebody or a sketchbook, I always get it signed. Always.
I get it signed to me too, or to my kids.
That's how I do it. I always have them personalized because then they know like this isn't anything but for me. Like I got a Pete Rose baseball that says "To Frega Boom" on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah.
But you know what becomes interesting about that? If you start to get personalized stuff and then you get a name in the industry, right? And then sometime down the road, you die or whatever, ends up at a estate sale, then it becomes like, oh my gosh, C.S. Lewis signed this to Edgar Rice Burroughs. And you're like, it becomes twice as valuable. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah,
Aaron,
that's it.
when you're in comics for a few years, maybe you'll make a name for yourself.
What's it like?
I'm
Art
hoping
of
that someone will actually recognize my name and not think that I'm somebody else.
Art Tabar's got a Moses tablet signed by John Jingleheimer Schmidt.
Hey, his name is my name too.
John Jacob
Nicely
Jingleheimer
played,
Schmidt.
Art. Nicely
It goes
played.
with everybody.
That's right.
All right, Aaron.
It
Well,
just died right there.
All right. Okay, this is that. Well, no, it's I've already told
Aaron's
the Wrightson
taking
story. I've told the Wrightson story a dozen times, so I'm not going to tell that again. But okay, here's a good one that could have gone south really, really badly, but thank God it didn't. I'm at the DC party at San Diego, right? One of the rooftop parties, and it's super loud and everything. And Dan DiDio and I are talking, right? And I think this is right as he was getting promoted to be publisher or whatever, right? And from editor-in-chief to publisher, right? And he was sitting there. We were talking about projects and things like that. And it was because I was talking to him about how I wanted to do something. I can't remember what it was. And he's like, you have to talk to somebody else, man. I'm, got promoted to publisher. I'm not going to be dealing hands-on and stuff like this. And I don't know why it came out this way. I was just trying to say, but Dan, you've had my back all these years. Who's going to look out for me, and make sure I have work if you're not, involved? That was what I was trying to say. What I said was, though, Dan, I've spent all these years training you to make sure I always had work.
Oh no!
But that sounds hilarious, though.
I know.
And he went like this. And I went, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant, And he had been drinking, so I was like, oh my gosh, I am never working again. I mean, I probably forgot about it, but at that moment, it was like my stomach sank. I was like, how did that come out of my mouth? Like it sounded like I had this devious plot for 10 years that I was pretending to be his friend so that he would give me work. And now I have to work on someone else. That's how it all came out. It wasn't supposed to sound like that at all. And
Aaron Presti, the original groomer.
Oh my gosh. I was just like, like somehow I was pulling Dan's strings, and I was just like, holy crap, that came out so bad.
Oh.
And I was
like
backtracking like
Jolly.
crazy, but he kind of let it slide. And oh my gosh, I thought I was dead. So there you go.
Good, though.
Yeah, it worked out. Nothing happened, but man, I thought my career was over. I was like, I could not have phrased that more poorly
Did you
if
come
I
home and
tried.
tell Shelley? Did you tell Shelley that story?
No, because she would have beat the crap out of me. So I was just
Right.
kind of like, I pretended it didn't happen. And then I was like praying to God that he wouldn't remember how it came out when I said it. And then he didn't. So we were good.
Yeah,
but
because those become the double regret, right? Those become like, I shouldn't have told my wife.
yeah, it's like, Shelley, you won't believe I just ruined my career.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have gone over well.
No.
So
All right.
All right. Well, this is a little show and telly. So if
Oh.
you share my screen,
Oh,
That
I know
Finch,
that piece.
it involves this piece right here. And
It
this
looks
is
like
the
Finch.
Dave Finch Wolverine.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
You do keep originals.
Well, this has got a little bit of a story.
strong
It's got a little bit of a story connected to it. Okay, so Dave and I mean, it's weird how it all worked out at Marvel with me, you know, getting fired and all that other stuff. But like Dave and I were pretty tight, and so he would give me kind of lessons. So, you know, I'd be drawing and then I'd say, I'm stuck here, or this bicep, whatever. And so, you know, we'd go back and forth, and he kind of was a little bit of a mentor, you know. And so I asked him, I said, you know, if you have any of your like doodles or any of your scraps, I said, you know, and you're going to throw them away, could you send them along? And so he said, sure. So it wasn't uncommon to get a care package from Dave Finch with just like doodles. Like there would just be these crazy ass killer doodles. Some of them were like partially inked, but they were always just fantastic, right? So one day I get this piece sent to me, and
Wow.
it's in pencil form. And so the ultimate line, there was no inker. They went from pencils to color. So I was always cut out of the loop. And I do remember talking to him about doing covers. And he thought it was unfair too. Like they should be inked, and then Eisenoff or whatever his name is should color him. And so I get this piece and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know, he got me a cover gig. This is awesome, right? And so I inked it up instantly. I just inked it up really quick. And then I sent it out to Marvel. And then Ralph Macchio is like, what is this? And I go, well, it's the cover to issue 44 of Ultimate, you know, X-Men. And he's like, no, that's already done. Like it's already at the printer and everything. And I go, but Dave sent this to me. And he goes, well, I don't know anything about that. He goes, it's a beautiful ink job, but you know, we have no use for it. And I was like, oh shit. So I called Dave up. And I'm like, Dave, you know, what's with this piece of artwork you sent me? He goes, it was just a present, man. He goes, I just like you, and I just sent it to you. I figured you'd appreciate seeing the pencils and everything. And I go, fuck, dude, I inked that thing. So
That's great.
so yeah. So this piece right here. So now I have this as always a reminder of what an idiot I am.
No,
It's
that's
a
Yeah,
great
but the thing
That's
is,
a great story.
yeah, but the thing is with that though, I mean, you may think of it personally and go, "Oh my gosh, I just ruined it by inking it." But anybody else is like, Art to Bear inking Dave Finch. Heck yeah, I want that.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't see it's yeah. So, but I can see from your standpoint, you're like, yo.
It was the phone call. It was the phone calls. It was like the editor, you know, like, hey Art, what's this thing you sent me? And then I had to explain it, and then having to call, you know, Dave up, and then Dave has to say, no, man, it was a present. It's just a gift to you. I was like,
Oh,
oh shit, I inked it up.
beautiful though.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
That's great. Okay, Billy.
Oh, geez, I'm trying to
Drop
think.
that one, Billy.
No, I can't. I'm trying to think.
You can top it. You always
You
can.
got to have another gay one.
So, what do you mean? Come on, how dare you?
Yeah, some butt sex.
Don't step on
Whoa.
his
What sex? Oh,
Where'd this channel go?
yeah, where did it go? All right, let me think. Oh man.
Billy said-
Graham, is it okay for you to go and me to go after you?
Sure.
I had it and I lost it. It
Okay.
came and it went.
I've had
Okay.
that.
Well, this happened in between my years at the Kubert School. I went one year and then I ran out of money. Went back home and went to community college for a year, and then saved up money, and then came back for my second year. Ran out of money again, and then never went back. I started getting work and blah blah blah. So in between those years, there was a convention, or I was living in Florida, and there's a convention in Orlando, and I saw that my teacher Sal Amendola was going to be there, and Dick Giordano, and a whole crew of people, but Sal was going to be there. So I decided, oh, I'm going to go over to the show, and I'll bring some of the work I've been working on my own since my previous year, because Sal was always a big advocate for me, and he was eventually the guy who got me my first job at DC. So anyway, we're walking into the convention, and here comes Sal walking down the walkway with Dick Giordano, and he goes, "Hey, He says, I was hoping I'd run into you here. He goes, Dick, this is Grave Nolan. This is the student of mine I was telling you about. And I'm like, this is great. And he says, did you bring any art with you? I said, yeah, I've got stuff. And he goes, okay, well, we're going out to lunch. When we're back at the table, make sure you show it to Dick. And I'm like, okay. So now I'm feeling really, really good. That he talked me up to Dick Giordano. And so I get in there and I get my portfolio out, and then Dick just rips me a new one. He just tore into me. He wasn't mean like Hama can be in his reviews and other guys. But he was very firm and stern, and he was correct too. Everything he said was true. But I was just so embarrassed because I realized that 1 year outside the school had put me way behind what the other guys were doing. And it became apparent to Sal too, because he expected me to exponentially go. And so that he was thinking what this portfolio was going to look like was better than it was.
No.
And so it was an eye-opening moment, and it was very humbling, and not quite embarrassing, but it was a little embarrassing, that I got my shit handed to me. But it wasn't something that crippled me. It made me want to work harder because I respected Dick Giordano and what he had to say, and I look back on it now, and he was absolutely right. I'm just not ready, back then.
Well, it's funny. I used to teach a class, and I told all the students, I was like, look, you're going to get ripped at some point. And I said, what determines if you're going to be a professional artist or not is how you take that criticism. Is it motivation, or does it defeat you? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. I mean, you've got to expect you're going to get ripped, even when you think you're really hot stuff. That's when you usually get shredded. But you've got to you either go, I suck, I'm going to go do something else, or you go, I'm going to show that SOB. Right. And that's what you did. And that's how you climb the ladder and make it.
That would be every San Diego convention for me. Like, I would go there and I'd look at everybody's work and I'd feel like I was this tall, right? And then I would just be determined when I got back to the studio, like, no, I got to prove myself.
Did you guys ever, in the days where you would wait in the lines to get your portfolio reviewed, did you guys ever wait in line with somebody else that became a pro as well?
Yeah, that could lead it to my story, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem. I was going to say there's an incredible artist by the name of Tom Coker, and he and I used to, like, multiple times we would go to WonderCons and we'd find ourselves like either in the same line or right next to each other showing our stuff. And like when he made it in and I made it in, we were just kind of like, "Fuck yeah, bud!" Good times.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right, are you up, Billy? You got one?
And I think I told this story, and it's not a funny one at all. It was San Diego, 1993, my first San Diego, to try to go and become a pro. And I had no money, man. And I every last time I had, I went there and I got a Marvel editor. I think it's a Marvel DC editor. And I think I know who it is, but I'm not going to name it because in case it's not. And I had I was online. I met Joe Weems at online, and it was just this guy Joe. He was an inker at the time, and he was incredible. Like, dude, this is amazing. Your work is incredible. So I got there, and this asshole editor was like, "Oh, look at this! Hey, look, another fucking warehouse scene." Because I drew it, I drew a scene in a warehouse to help. That's what And actually, it might have been a script, like a test script or something. And he goes, if I see another portfolio with a fucking warehouse, I'm gonna fucking punch somebody right in the face. And I'm standing there, right, embarrassed the shit out of me. And he's like, yeah, okay, you got any sent next, like that. So that was embarrassing. And then the next year, of course, was San Diego '94, and we got on, NBC News and
history.
We were the belle of the ball.
Yeah.
And good old Joe Weems came by though, like Joe, and he was working, I was working. It was cool.
Joe's
Oh,
a
that's
good guy.
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. But that was very embarrassing, and I wanted to kill that guy. But you don't know, you know what I mean? You're trying to break in, you can't attack editor. And they were kings. You think of that year '93, you're a Marvel editor, a DC editor, all the guys left to go to Image and stuff, and and here we're just, we got $1 and a dream.
They held the reins.
Absolutely. And then shoots you down and embarrasses you like that in front of everybody. It was just.
But the great thing, I never said this.
Here's the thing. I know exactly who it is. I'm sorry, Aaron. I know exactly who it is. And he called me in 1996 looking for a job.
No way.
Well, now that you know who it is.
Marvel or DC. And then I'm like, I was nice to him about it. I'm like, yeah, well, let me see. I said, because, it was probably 97, Crusades exploding, and I'm like, let me see, but I'm not really quite sure. I got Tony Bedard, but let me check the books and
meet you in a warehouse.
Working.
I'll be the guy in black.
Yeah, so I never called him.
You should have hired him to work in your warehouse. That would have been the best.
It's funny. I don't think I ever told this to any editor, but I always left saying under my breath after every bad encounter with an editor, was like, I'm going to be in this industry long after you're gone, pal. So enjoy it while you can. And that has been the truest statement that I've ever. Yep. Because the editors come and go, but if you're any good, you stick around. And we have, most of us, for 25, 30 years.
Stick around.
Thank God for that.
You know what the reality is that every critique you get is not always spot on. No. You have to figure out what's worth applying and what is not. There's a great story about Johnny Hart, the great cartoonist who did DC and was Bid, and dozens of others that he was involved in. He went to all the different syndicates, and he kept getting rejected. He finally goes to this one last syndicate, and they said no. He walked out, took his portfolio, and dumped it in the trash can right there in Manhattan. And he started walking back to the subway to go back up to Binghamton, and or the train. And he turned around, and something stuck with him. He says, "You know what? This stuff might not be what they're saying." And he picked his shit up. And the next syndicate he went to, they hired it. They picked it up.
Yep. He was that close.
Yeah, it's like that. There's that cartoon of the guy who's digging for treasure, and then he gives up, and he's throwing the shovel over his back,
right?
And inches away is the treasure. Yeah.
Marvel turned me down the same day DC hired me. So, and then later that night, Marvel hired me, once they found out what they had done. So, these things do happen. I remember, I never really cared too much what anybody thought, even though in the early days I would still ask, people that I liked or respected, what do you think of my work? And it was Bill Sienkiewicz. And I grew up when what was it, the New Mutants, what they that really kind of sketchy, abstract kind of stuff going on, and I really dug it. And I remember talking to him, and I showed him my work, and he's like, I hate this shit.
Oh shit.
And I'm like what? And then he goes, when people do this, he said if you want to draw a tree, he said, go outside and look at a damn tree. If you want to see this, you go do this. And then I'm thinking, aren't you the Neil Adams clone on Moon Knight? I'm instantly, I never said anything. I was still respectful to him, but I'm just thinking to myself, it's like, really? Like in the early days, all you did was crack open other comic books like you're accusing me of doing, and looking at other people's work,
so protest.
Yeah, don't get all, high horsey on me, Mr. Sienkiewicz.
Yes.
High horse. You want to be high on the horse.
Now, I don't know if you guys have any more, but this is kind of in line with Billy's story. I have an ultimate humiliation story. After I had done, I'm sorry. Dan, do you have another one? Because I don't want to step in.
No, I was joking about the fourth one. I was saying you guys taking off your shirts and humiliating me would be the fourth one.
Okay. Okay. So after I did Tachyon for DC, right, I got blacklisted over at DC, and I really didn't have any connections at Marvel. at that point because I'd come off Sludge and done a couple things for DC, a couple things for Valiant, and then this Tachyon thing sort of landed in my lap. Now, those of you who read Tachyon, it got canceled after 7 issues. It was really a terrible comic, but the artwork I did in it was actually pretty good. And at least that stage of my career, I had taken another step from Sludge, which was, I think, the first professional work I did. And then I stepped it up on Tachyon. So I was really quite pleased with the book and how it looked. But I ended up getting blamed for the failure of the book because the writer was an editor at DC. And from what I understood from inside sources telling me, he was going around basically blaming me for the failure of the book. So he didn't have to take the heat for it. And so that got me sort of blacklisted at DC, which I actually would later confirmed it was actually a fact. But so here I am. I went through this 3 or 4 month period where I couldn't get anything, right? And so here I am at San Diego, and I waited in line with all the other people to show their portfolios again to some Marvel editors, right? And I ran, of course, right? That's the time you run into all these pros, and they're like, Aaron, what are you doing standing in line here? And I'm like, I'm showing my portfolio. And they're like, you got to show your portfolio, because my gosh, I'd been in Wizard magazine. I had all this stuff because of Sludge and these different things. And now I couldn't get arrested. Right. And it was like, I swear to you, I was so embarrassed. It's okay if you're standing in line because then you're kind of embarrassed just for yourself. You're like, I can't believe I have to stand in line to do this again. But when you start running into people know you that are in the industry, and they're like, what are you standing in line for? And you're like, I can't get any work, so I went up and showed Mark Powers and stuff, this Tachyon stuff, and they actually liked it. And eventually I ended up getting some work in the X-Men office. But just the humiliation of standing in that line as a pro that had been working for, 5 or 6 years at that point, and having to stand in line to show my portfolio like I had never done anything was pretty humiliating, and then became worse as pro after pro for some reason happened to be walking by the Marvel booth while I was standing in line.
Shame.
It's only embarrassing that you're standing in line because you're out in public standing in line. It's really no different. I mean, the whole process of freelancing is somewhat degrading if you want to know the truth. Because remember, think about it, back in the days when you could access Marvel and DC Comics, you went up there and you bounced around like a hobo to different offices that knocked on their door. Hey, can I come in and show you my portfolio? And sometimes they would say yes, and sometimes they would say no. But you're kind of lowering yourself as you're, basically going around with a hat in hand, or in this case, a portfolio in hand, looking for work. It really is sort of degrading if you think of it like that.
But hey, Aaron, Gesundheit, I have a line story too, waiting in line. It has nothing to do with comic books, but it's just I thought it was funny and it worked out pretty good. So my daughter and I, we like hard, rock and roll, like heavy metal type stuff. And so we're waiting in line to see this thrasher band, right? I mean, it's all hardcore. Everybody in line is all like, they got, piercings and tattoos and all this black leather and spikes and everything. And so I just went, hey man, to hold the line. And so then I went, and there was like a little Baskin Robbins over on the side. This is my little daughter, right? So I bought her an ice cream cone. So I have an ice cream cone.
You're at a Headbanger concert, but I got to get my ice cream cone.
Yeah, we're just eat this ice cream cone. And then all these guys are like, oh, what the hell? These guys aren't like with it or whatever. And so the next thing I know, this big dude with greasy hair, all these tattoos and leather jacket and stuff, he goes, where'd you get that? Yeah.
So they should have said it's Jack Daniels flavored.
It was the coolest uncool thing I've ever done. Yeah.
That's funny though.
You're like prison.
Prison.
Oh man. Okay, I've got more.
I'd like to hear one more, Aaron. I'd like to hear one.
Aaron's got a whole list. He's going to grab it right now.
Oh gosh!
Let's hear another one.
No, it's seriously. It's always with me. It's always people humiliating me. It's rarely, other than the Dan DiDio thing. It's very rare that I actually said something other than the Wrightson story, of course.
Right. Well, hold
but,
on. The thing I find the most amazing thing is if anybody's ever met Aaron, he's a big dude. Like he's an imposing guy. Like I can't see any of these things, like anybody, like embarrassing you or starting any crap with you, because all you have to do is stand up. You know what I mean? And you just tower over most people.
But it's not. It's usually not mean spirited. It's usually because they think I'm somebody else, or that I can't tell you how many times that, Terry and I for years have shared a booth in San Diego, right? And I have my banners behind me, and he has his banners behind him, and we're in a, it's like a corner booth, right? So you'd have to be mentally challenged not to figure out who's who.
Right.
Why would Terry be sitting in front of Aaron's banners? But I've had so many, hey, Mr. Dodson, you're my favorite artist, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, Terry's over there. And they're like, oh, but we love your stuff too. And then, that I had a guy, and we sat next to Adam Hughes, right, in the booth next to us. So again, this is one of those stories where there's this line for Adam's stuff. And this guy comes up to me, just starts gushing about how great I am and how honored he is to have this opportunity to blah, blah, blah. And it was about 20 seconds into it, I knew mistaken identity alert. And of course, he was like, so, Mr. Hughes, can you? And I'm like, all right, stop. Go.
Just stop.
Adam.
Stop it right now.
See behind me, it says Aaron Lopresti. I mean, I literally have these banners right behind me. And then Adam is in the booth next to me with all the Adam Hughes banners. And somehow this guy thinks I'm Adam. And so then, of course,
say, sir, I was just practicing on you.
Yeah, exactly. I said the line for Adam is, that's Adam right there. And he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I love your stuff too. You're just like, get out of here before I strangle you. Just go. I tell you. No respect.
No respect. I was just saying, no respect. You're the Rodney Dangerfield.
I don't know how you do it, Adam.
That's right.
Not. I mean, I should be complimented, right? That they're looking at my sketches thinking I'm Adam, but it's also this kind of thing where they're like, nobody knows who I am, especially Bernie Wrightson, and that hurts.
We know who you are, Aaron.
Thank you. Only because I'm on this show with you.
That was so sincere.
No, I knew you before the show. For goodness
That's
sake.
right. That's right. You came up and talked to me way back.
Yeah,
that's right.
So
let me tell you guys what a nightmare that one was.
Takes away.
I had Plug one time at a Seattle show, and he had this was self-humiliation just to get some artwork, but I would do it again. He was I've got one of his when those card set came out that he did that were all the painted cards, right, of all the monsters and all that different stuff.
Oh yeah.
So he was kind of on a tour with those trading cards, but he had all the original art, and he was selling the original art. And so he had told me this story about how he had given the all the storyboards and stuff from Little Shop of Horrors that he worked on, and he gave all the storyboard stuff to his kid, and his kid ended up selling him or something like that, right? And it was kind of a bummer of a story. And so he had this one painting. It was actually one of my favorite paintings from the collection. It was the Abominable Snowman. And there's like this kind of a mountain man on a horse down below him, and this giant abominable snowman coming out around this cave and this bend thing in the snow. And he had it up there for the very reasonable price of, I think $800.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have $800, right? This was very early in my career, like 90, probably like just post Sludge. In fact, I might have been during that unemployed time where I was looking for work. But I was like, I realized the opportunity. I got to get one of these paintings for him. And I went in there and I said, Mike, I said, I'm really interested in this painting. And he goes, I hate that one. That's my least favorite. And I went, good. I go, it's one of my favorites. I go, but I don't have the 800, man. I said, all I got is 5. Would you sell it to me for 5? Oh, I can't sell it to you for 5. I can't sell it to you for 5. And I said, all right. And so I walked away, and Shelley was there, and I was like, I got to get that painting, you know, but I did not have the money. I only earned like at this Seattle show, like $500. That's all I had. So I kept going back and badgering him, and I kept going, look, Mike, I guarantee you, you know, I said, you don't even like this. You should be happy to get 500 for it. You don't even want this thing. Oh my gosh. I was working him so hard. And then I shamelessly went back and I said, look it, you know, I said, I promise you, I will never sell it. You know, referencing his kid, right? So just like pouring a little salt in the wound, you know, I will never sell this. I'll keep it till the day I die. If you just give it to me for $500. And I probably went back to his table 5 times, just pounding him down, just going, you've got to sell me that for $500, man. And he finally did. So I did get the painting. It's hanging on my wall. And and looking back in retrospect, I was like, man, that was really an a-hole. I mean, I was really embarrassing myself, but I got the art.
Now, if I asked you how much did you get for it, and you said, oh, like 50 G's, then you'd be an asshole.
Right.
No.
Exactly.
I would never. It's hanging on my wall. Yeah. And the great thing is, he, like many other professionals that I met that forgot me later on, they always remembered Shelley, right? So the next time I saw him at a show, he gives Shelley the pencil drawing for the painting for free.
Wow. Oh shit!
Well, Aaron, you always remember the pretty one.
Yeah, I know. And I'm like, wait a minute, I thought we were buddies. But so anyway, I've got the pencil drawing hanging on my wall and the painting right next to it.
That's cool. I remember that. Never seen that.
I tried to get
Lepresti too, Plug.
I tried to get Plug on the storytellers, but you know, he's like 80 now or something, and he says he's honored, but he just doesn't like doing those things.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's a guy that I knew for years and would call on the phone, and when he was living in England, and talk to pretty regularly. And then of course I didn't talk to him for a few years. And then I saw him at a wizard show in Portland. The last wizard show I did, because I hate wizard shows. I'm like Billy. I have many not kind wizard stories, but he comes walking up and I'm like, Mike, because he was actually looking at stuff on my table. I go, Mike. And he looks up at me and you could just tell he had no clue. Right. And I'm like, Mike, Aaron Lopresti, you know, I was like pointing at the banner and all this kind of stuff. And we talked and, you know, I asked him what he was doing and all this kind of stuff, but you could tell the whole time he had no freaking clue who I was. And I couldn't believe it, because early on, when I bought the artwork to him, I'd been to the guy's house. I've had lunch with him. I've had dinner with him on several occasions. I bought original art from him. I was in Chicago one time walking by his table, and I didn't think he'd even recognize me. And he goes, Aaron, come on over, you know, and started talking to me. And then I see him and he doesn't, no clue who I was.
You should commit crimes, Aaron.
Yeah, really.
No, Aaron should go and
get away
banks.
with bank robberies.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, what did he look like? I had a face.
He looks a lot
that's right. No, I don't recognize that guy. You know, that's not him. I'm in a lineup. They're going, nope, I don't know. It's not that guy. I'm sure it's not that guy.
That's him, Adam
Never
Hughes.
seen that guy before.
Yeah, they'd arrest Adam Hughes. You're in a lineup with Adam Hughes, and they're like, it's that guy right there.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Damn it, it's him.
I thought he was shorter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've told this story before. I'm sorry to hog this, but I've got so many humiliating stories. I got to fill up the programming. So we're at Shelley and I are at San Diego, and this is Shelley in her spandex days, right? And I think we were
yesterday.
I think we were engaged, right? So you know, she was young hot. Now she's old hot, but she was young hot then, and painted into this you know, spandex thing. And so we had met Sergio Aragones at a Portland show. Went out to dinner with him after the show and everything, right? And Shelley was with me. We'd also met Bill Stout at Dragon Con, and Shelley was there, of course, and you know, we talked and stuff. And Plug, right? This is all within the same year. I'd met all these guys, and they were all like, you know, guys I really admired. So all in one night. So we're at the Ink Pot Awards, I guess. Is that the awards they have at the San Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're at that thing, and I run into Sergio, right? And I'm like, Sergio, Aaron Lopresti, hey, how's it going? gloss, has no freaking idea who I am.
Oh,
Not kidding. Shelly comes walking up in this black tight miniskirt thing, walks up to me, and Sergio goes, Shelly! And gives her this big hug. And I'm like, I mean, I introduce myself, tell him my name. He has no clue who I am, but he remembers my wife, right? And so she's giving me crap about this. We're laughing about it, as we're walking back to the hotel. So we see Bill Stout over at the desk, same night. He's at the check-in desk or whatever. And I go up to him and I'm like, Bill, hey man. And he's, I go, Aaron Lepresti, we met at Dragon Con, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. We're talking a little bit. Shelly comes walking.
Oh no, again.
He's like, oh my gosh, Shelly, it's so good.
have you guys
Oh
ever
my
seen
God.
Men in
I
Black?
swear to you, I am not kidding. So then, same night, right, later in the hotel, Shelly goes into the restroom, and there's Plug standing up by the phones, and so I go up to him, and I talked to him in Portland, and we would have gone out to dinner and everything, and of course Shelly was there, and I'm talking to Plug, and of course I reintroduced myself, and I think he kind of vaguely remembered who I was and everything. He didn't know my name until I told him, right? And we're sitting there talking, and Shelly comes out of the bathroom. He's like, oh yeah, Shelly, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you. 3 times in one night. You want to talk about the ultimate humiliation. You're just like, I don't exist. I don't. I just put Shelly in front of me, and go.
The natural thing, in Men in Black, the neuralizer,
Oh,
Yeah.
it makes you forget. I think maybe your pheromones like put out a thing that says you will remember nothing.
Hey, let me tell you something. Yeah, Aaron, I bet you if you meet that fatty that fucking R keeps blowing up on rooftops, that he'll remember you.
He'll remember you. Hell yeah.
Depends how good of a job you do, though.
That's right.
Unforgettable.
True. Oh my gosh. So anyway, that's my humiliation for this evening's show.
That's great.
Well, I think we've humiliated everybody enough tonight. We're going on 2 hours now, and I'm still tired from that damn MegaCon. Holy cow!
Yeah, Graham, how was your cigar night? Hawaiian.
Hey, it was great. We had a hell of a turnout, dude.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah, we and you wouldn't believe the amount of CG people coming up to the tables.
That's great.
And they introduce themselves by their handles.
Oh yeah.
And they're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, Mr.
Love it.
Biggins. I met Mr. Biggins.
No way.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. He came by with his wife, and Southern Cecil was there.
Southern
He's a
Cecil
good
got
guy.
to meet him. He's dope.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's a good guy.
Yeah. Mike Hawk.
Yep.
Say what?
Mike Hawk.
Say what? Is he related to Mike Hunt?
Oh,
Yeah.
It says
It
what?
was really great. It was a lot of fun. I was very surprised, and they all came out for cigars and Hawaiian shirts and whiskey. A couple guys brought some really great bottles. One guy brought some single malt, Billy.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's the guy to hang out with, buddy.
Yeah, and then this other guy brought some Jefferson's bourbon.
Oh, that's
That's
good
cool.
stuff.
That
Is
is
that
good.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
This is the
salt
one
acid
that's it's a limited that's aged in what kind the Cabernet cask.
Yeah,
those are
And
good.
that's put on it. I think it's put on a ship for like a year or
That's
something.
Jefferson's
That's
Ocean.
Jefferson Ocean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
oh wow.
That's
Yeah.
good
I've had a
shit,
few
too.
of those they call them voyages. I've had 19, 20, 22. They're great.
Yeah, that's a nice one, that Jefferson Ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time, but it was so busy. It felt like New York Comic Con on Saturday.
Really?
That's how crowded it was. Yeah.
Billy, how's your boys collarbone doing?
Oh, he's all right. If I could share a picture real quick.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let me see if I have it here.
Or if Andy asks, how's your girl twin's shoulder bone doing?
Yeah. How's your girl's thigh bone doing? I heard she heard it.
No, he's doing good. But I want to thank everybody for all the really. Okay, yeah, here it is. Okay,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, Project's Done Poorly. Thank you for the $10 super chat. That's a good
Yes.
cigar. Here's a story from a coworker. He was a crew chief on Air Force One with George H.W. They flew to Germany, and Wolf Blitzer ran a smear story on the president, and Wolf got his bags dumped off, and they flew off.
Oh, good. Wolf Blitzer's a dick, anyhow.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, well,
That's
I
funny.
shared the screen if I can, because everyone's been at, even in the chat. So there he is. So thank you guys. He's doing good.
Ouch.
He
Rebuild him.
Yeah, that's why he could. The way it was. That's why a lot of times you could just set it.
Wow.
Or just let it be. Just have your arm up in a sling, and then it'll grow itself. But the way it was broken, so he's got all these plates with screws in them.
Are those
Holy cow.
temporary? Are those temporary, or are those going to be
Well,
permanent?
no, they're permanent. But in years from now, if it bothers him, if it's if it's hurting him, then he'll have to get them taken out. But by then, it should be it'll be all healed. But yeah, he did a good job on it. So, but
How did he bust it?
He mosh pitting
Mosh pitting.
Oh, man.
at a metal concert, and some dude targeted him, and just some coward just hit him from behind and knocked him on his ass.
Yeah,
And he actually knocked him out. He blacked out.
Oh, did you
So-
get a CT scan for a concussion?
Yeah, we did all that. Yep, he's good. So, but yeah, thank you for all your well wishes. And he's miserable right now because they gave him a nerve blocker,
What a
Yeah.
bro.
and the nerve blocker worked yesterday. But now it's dissipated. So now he's just gonna he's on like Percocet or something.
I hate those.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it just he's hey, F around and find out, right?
Yeah.
Hey, our brother David Brohawk Williams is here.
The Mr. Williams.
God
Hello.
bless all the
What's
bros in the
up?
mighty
The
chat.
W.
Same to you, Dave.
Hey, Aaron, real quick, have you guys decided if you're going to be able to do San Diego this year?
Shelly's not going to. I'm planning on it right now, hoping that nothing that involves treatment with her is going to be a conflict with it. Because obviously, if she needs me here, I don't want to be someplace else. But it looks like we're going to be able to work around it. So I'm going as of right now.
Okay. Well, we'll get you lick it up. I know you don't want to, but you're going to need a drink. So,
Dude, hot chicks couldn't even get me liquored up in high school, so you're not going to be able to do it.
all right. Well, then more for
Yes,
us. Then.
but what about hot guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
well,
right.
I know.
Aaron's like hot guys on the other
what if you had a
hand.
shirt?
Right.
you
Well,
didn't say
Billy's
anything about
stories
that.
tonight.
Just wear a shirt that says fatty on it. You know what I'm saying?
Or get out your Fragga shirt from '95.
Yeah,
you
I'm
go.
going to find it, man.
I told you I want to hold the purple monkey. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But Billy,
On the other
I felt your pain with your son because I used to, take my daughter to those shows, and then we'd split up, and then I remember I went with a friend, and then he's like, "Is that your daughter?" And she's up on the stage with the band, and then she just leaped off the stage.
Oh my God.
And they're doing the crowd surf thing, and so I was like, "Yeah." And so then about halfway through the set, she comes back and she's just like, "Don't tell mom." And her nose is all bloodied and everything. It wasn't broken, but it was all bloodied and everything. I go, "I told you, man, you got to be careful because some of those people are like a-holes that get in those mosh pits."
Yeah, they are. They are.
Yeah.
And we've told him that, and he's become friends with a lot of them, and we feel bad for him because he's made a lot of friends there, and he's working out, and he's working, and he's getting an incredible amount of confidence, and then now he's kind of grounded for the next 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, well, the new bands, I was surprised because when they see the mosh pit going on, they're like, "Hey guys, be cool." Like if they see anything, they actually kind of steer. Everybody's
Well,
like,
after that
"Hey,
Travis
dude,
Scott thing,
get out of there," whatever. But in the day, man, I went in one and my friend got cold conked, man. A guy just came off the side and just punched him in the back of the head and knocked him to the ground.
Yeah, that's what happened to him, and and he got knocked out too.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Neon Knight Rider, thank you for that $2 super chat. Do you guys think there's any chance to get JR in CG? No.
you never know,
No.
though.
No. Well, I think JR probably sympathizes with a lot of our beliefs of what make great comics and everything. But he has a contract and a career that he'll probably retire out on.
Oh, yeah.
At Marvel
Well, he's got a family lineage at Marvel and everything. So.
Yeah. And I think they just, they brought him back after that DC debacle, and I think he's
one of my
doing stuff
favorites.
he likes to do.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had him on
My
the
advice to all you
on the
guys is-
Storytellers, and he's just a great guy, and just a real regular Joe.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's awesome. Love
Yeah.
him. Great guy.
Cool.
My advice is, if you guys want to know, ask these guys. Ask the pros yourselves. You might be
Yeah.
really pleasantly surprised what you hear from some people.
And then again, you might not.
Then again, you might not. That's right.
Yeah. Oh no, you may be surprised in different ways. Opinionated news guy, thank you for the $2. I got kicked in the face by Glenn Danzig in a pit.
What did he come off a fucking scaffolding?
Yeah, all you have to do is punch him in the face like that other dude did. You see that when
Yeah.
Glenn Danzig gets knocked out?
No.
Oh yeah. If you Google it, you'll find it. It's on YouTube.
Doesn't he get bitch slapped? He gets
Yeah,
like
he like it. It's not.
right?
Yeah, it's almost like a slap. Yeah,
He's a small little
like-
dude, isn't he?
Yeah, I was gonna say he's got to get on a ladder to punch you in the knee.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
He's
really?
tiny.
He's a small guy?
yeah.
Oh.
He's a really cool guy, though. I've met him a couple of times.
He's
Really
not cool. He can eat an ass,
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
oh,
and not the good way.
Oh.
I'm talking.
I don't know that there is a good way.
Is
there a good way?
Post Taco Bell with rotten eggs.
That's not a good way.
Fuck that guy.
I thought he was cool. Like I met him at WonderCon one year, and so my daughter, like whenever my daughter and I split up, I always meet like these idols of hers, and so my wife was with me, and she called my daughter, and she's like, "You got to get over here. Your dad's like, hanging out with Glenn Danzig," and so she hauls ass, gets over there. He did it. He drew her up a drawing, and then they were doing a show that weekend, and he invited us over there. We got to hang and everything. It was really
You know
cool.
what? My resentment for him is so deep. I've been saving my ball sweat for years in a squirt bottle. So the next time I see him, I'm going to fire it right in his mouth.
oh my God!
Oh.
That's how much I
Damn.
fucking like that guy.
Man, that's pretty detailed. So what did he do to you?
No, that's for the big dick story.
Yeah.
Hey, we know what Dan's next topic
Fuck
is.
that guy. It's not my topic. It's Billy's, or no, it's Art's. Isn't it Art?
No, it would be Andy. Andy's next.
No,
oh, no,
no.
you're
I'm
right.
saying
Aaron.
whoever has the big dick story.
I'm next, but I'm not
Actually,
doing
Aaron's
that.
I know.
I'm not doing that.
Hey
Yeah,
guys,
I came up
next
with the big-
Thursday we're closing out the She campaign, Sakura, on Kickstarter. So I know Graham, you're on Kickstarter, so I'd like you guys to pop in. We have Pop XP, gonna have a fun little time, BSing for like an hour or so. So I'll send, if it's all right, I'll send you guys all the link.
Sure.
Come on and just talk. It's been doing real well for us. I know a lot of people
Cool.
don't like Kickstarter, but I mean we're over $66,000, I think. And
Everybody has their ideologies. I'm on Indiegogo, and who knows, one day maybe Kickstarters in the future. But at the end of the day, I'm in this business to get my my ideas and creations into as many people's hands as possible.
Mhm.
We do this because we believe in it. And we want to create that sort of excitement for other people and share what we have. And that the best way to do that is to get it everywhere.
yeah,
Be on any platform you can that can get it in new people's hands.
Yeah.
That's my mindset.
Yeah.
But also I'm not down with any gatekeeping. But if that's gone, then good
Right.
on it. Good
Yeah,
on
there's
it.
a different regime there, but yeah, I wasn't down with the gatekeeping and stuff like that either.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of saving some dick sweat for Kickstarter. But
That's like a bad cat.
right now,
Oh,
right in the mouth.
Right in the mouth. I've been saving this since 1993, homie.
That's vintage dick sweat.
It is.
wow. You should scrape off and give him some taint cheese.
Ball sweat,
All
like
right,
especially after I jog.
Now we're talking about the taint cheese and stuff. I think it's a good time to end this show.
Yeah, get me out of here.
Fremunda. There we go. Graham's gone.
Graham's
Whoa, what did he do?
His own show. He
Graham just bailed on his own show. Does he know he has to end it? We can't.
Yeah, he's back. He's
Oh,
back.
there.
He's like, I'm out of here. You guys are gross. We'll keep going all night. You're the one that has to end it.
Okay,
Well, it
everybody
was
in the
worth it.
chat. Everybody in the chat, you know the rules. Take a drink. I had a techno fuck up. I got the stupid, touch mouse.
Nice.
Yeah, and every time, like if I go to grab it, sometimes my finger will go across the top of it, and all of a sudden it goes whoop and cancels me out of the screen. And in this case, when that happens, you're out of the show. I got to bounce back in,
Well, we actually thought you drew the line at Dick Cheese, or what was it? Taint Cheese?
Taint cheese.
Yeah, well, I am
Oh.
drawing the line on Taint Cheese, so we're gonna say goodnight to the chat and
It
everybody.
was worth it to hear you say Taint Cheese, though, Graham.
Yeah, well, screen cap that.
Clip it.
Hey, thanks everybody for the comments, the super chats, and for watching our show. We really do appreciate it. We have a lot of fun engaging with you guys as much as we do with each other here.
Oh, yeah.
Next week, it will be Aaron's show. We don't know what it will be, but I'm sure it will be wonderful. He'll come up with something brilliant. But before we do, Neon Knight Rider gave another $2. Art, why did the editor want to bury Bagley?
It was Bob Harris, and he didn't really think that that Mark had the pizzazz as far as his pencils. He knew he was a great storyteller, anatomy, everything was great. They just felt like they needed a little bit of a hookup. So I was kind of told to bury him in the inks. So that's what the bury thing was.
Okay.
What did he think of your? What did he think of your inks? I know I missed that one, but
he seemed to like him at the time. Yeah. So I mean, we did a pretty long run. I think we did almost 3 years without a single fill-in, and we were going twice a month towards the end. So I think there was a year of the book where we were doing 2 books a month.
Wow.
Crazy.
Well, this has been a fun topic, gang, and we will see you next week. We don't have any more shows this week because, right? What's today? Wednesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, because this is our summer schedule now, and the bros are on Tuesdays because conventions and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So thanks again, everybody, and we'll catch you next week on Aaron's show and Monday on the Comics Gate Kings.
Tank
great show, Graham.
See you guys.
Thanks.